Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. I hope you're all doing well. Tomorrow we play versus Freiburg in Europa League and I have one wish, or at least more than the victory. I hope the weather will be a bit better than today because it's snowing crazy. And as in Italian we say, marzo pazzo, hopefully tomorrow will not be that pazzo. We go. Brrr, better inside. Well, I told you marzo pazzo. In English it means crazy March because they are referring to the weather. One time it can be really sunny, other time it can be snowy like it is today. But marzo pazzo can also mean the minus 15 points that could be potentially given back to Juve. Yesterday a lot of people, a lot of Juventini were already starting to celebrate. Guys, is it a victory? Attenzione, but I will speak about that topic towards the end of the video, so if you're really interested, wait for it, go or scroll to the end of the video, because it's quite interesting to really understand what these minus 15 points means after the news of yesterday, the update of yesterday. We'll speak about Moise Kean, that since yesterday, through media, has been revealed that he's an official Juve player and not anymore on loan from Everton, and then starting to prepare the game of tomorrow in Europa League versus Freiburg. I know that Freiburg is not the most known team on the European scene, on the European foreground, on the European level, because it's not a team that we are used to watch every Tuesday or Wednesday in Champions League. So a lot of question marks. Is it a real strong team because they are quite well ranked in Bundesliga? Is Juventus able to beat them, yes or no? I watched the video of Romeo Agresti with Giorgio Dusi that I already brought you here, do you remember? When we were speaking about Filip Kostic, his potential arrival, so he's an expert of Bundesliga, and he explained a bit what team Freiburg is. He said, yes, it is not a team known on the European level, but it's a team that is on an incredible journey of growth, because they are growing year in, year out, with one big keyword. It means continuity. They have the same coach since 2011. Guys, if we are speaking about these coaches, they have really long longevity. We have to speak about Arsene Wenger, about Sir Alex Ferguson. It's something that we are not really used to see in Italy, but more, you know, these old vintage coaches that remain really long. What is the advantage of it? Well, they have the same coach, the same idea, he knows the team perfectly well, and they can give that continuity. Not only the team is the same, but also the management, also fresh, renewed. They continue with the same block, and you know how important management is in football. We spoke about it with the recent dismissal of our hierarchy, of our management, so continuity is important, not only with the management and the coach, but also with the players, because the players, when they arrive in Freiburg, well, they don't really want to leave. Not a lot of players are leaving. Yeah, there were some like Schlotterberg and so on, but most of the time they remain. Why? Because fantastic environment. They have a really chill, tranquillo city with not great expectations like Bayern Munich, but they give them time to grow. And you know, you have a fantastic, beautiful Black Forest, 4-hour 30 with a car from Torino. So it's quite beautiful to live in Freiburg. They don't pay crazy amount of salary, but they believe in their player, and that means that they have a fantastic group that is working for each other. They are backing them up. They know themselves super well, and they are working with one big word that is also used for Juventus recently. It means unity. Tactically, because that's also important, tomorrow we'll go with some frames, but now just speaking and give you an idea about the tactics. Well, it's a team that has one big keyword. They need to run more than the opponent. So it will be a team that physically they will be at 100%. They run. And Juventus is most of the time suffering these kind of teams. But it's a team that is not going with a high pressing super high on the field. They go with high pressing and they stop in the midfield. So high pressing until a certain level of the field, not going too much and exposing themselves. They have a really big compact block, better without ball possession, and that will be a big question mark for me, because we know that when Juventus has the ball under their feet, not always they know what to do with it. We saw it versus Roma. Attenzione. One of their strengths is the set pieces on free kick or corner kick. Look at the player they have. A real Juventino Grifo that is really strong there, and every year is going with more assists, with more goals. It's a pragmatic team that is well organized, so it will be a difficult game. They suffer against big teams like Bayern Munich, Dortmund, that they didn't win a lot in these years of the coach, but it's a team that is suffering these big teams. Is Juventus a big team in Europe? Well, we'll discover it tomorrow. Is it an easy game? No, but Juventus has the possibility to beat them because they are not unbeatable. If you're speaking about the player that they have, Mirko Di Natale did an interview and it will be released soon, probably when the video will be on. You will be able to watch it on TuttoJuve that I had the honor to listen to before it was released. Well, they were speaking about Ritsu Doan. Ritsu Doan, a player from Freiburg. He said a few things, but one of the interesting things is they understand the situation of Juventus with these minus 15 points. They are aware of it. They don't speak too much about it, so it's not something that they know, okay, Juventus is in trouble, blah, blah, blah. But one thing that they discovered is that Juventus, they want to go in Champions League next year, and one of the ways to arrive it is winning the Europa League. So they are aware that Juventus will do everything they can to play with the will of winning that league. That means also tomorrow. So they are prepared of a mega super Juve in Europa, like we saw versus not with that hat-trick of Di Maria. Ritsu Doan in 2019 was contacted by Juve. The journalist Mirko Di Natale asked him, do you know about it? Were you aware of the interest of Juve? He said, absolutely yes. And then he said, but this is the past. I'm at Freiburg now, so I'm not speaking too much about it, for all the respect of my actual club. But I could hear in his voice that he was maybe really hoping that at the time in 2019 it would happen. Do you know Ritsu Doan? If yes, let me know. Other great players they have is Lienhard. Attenzione, Zinedine Zidane wanted him back then. So they have a team with also great individualities. And then the goalkeeper was speaking about the fact that tomorrow for them it's the game of their lives, playing versus a big team like Juve. Now, because the video is, mamma mia, is long, but I really wanted to analyze Freiburg before the game of tomorrow, we go with the other news about Moise Kean that is on Corriere dello Sport with Kean will cost you or just costed 35 million euro. Well, the prices was set at 28 million euro with a potential 3 million more in bonuses and then the cost of the loans for the 2 years that we had Moise Kean at Juventus. Excessive price? Absolutely yes. It's a player that, unfortunately, that news came out after that red card. It's a player that was already in target of Juventini because he did a disaster last season, 21-22, 22-23 a bit better, but it looks like a player that every time that he has the possibility to do that step more to become better and not the starter of Juventus, but at least a real player from the bench, well, he flops, or he arrives late, or he's not able to concretize or to finalize the goals in front of the goal. It is always something for the guy. And that's really annoying. What will happen with the future of Moise Kean? Will it be on the market next year? Will Juventus try to change? Will Juventus be obliged? Well, I have absolutely no idea. I already told you Mercato is blocked at the moment. Moise Kean, the only thing I wish for him is that maybe one day we can see the potential he had when he was 16, 17, 18, because he had so much potential, but we are now a few years later, he's 23, and we never saw it. So today, 35 million euro in total, so we are speaking about 22 plus 8 plus 3 plus the loans. It's a lot. It's a lot, so let me know your opinion about Moise Kean. And now we go towards the potential other players, because Moise Kean, not only the red card, but he will miss 2 games in Serie A, the one of Sampdoria and the one of Inter, already official. He also will be penalized with a fee that he received from Juventus. Well, who could be there versus Sampdoria? We are speaking maybe about Kenan Yildiz. Kenan Yildiz that already trained with the team, not confirmed by the club, but I know that rumor is everywhere around. Will we see Kenan Yildiz on the bench? Would be a nice boost for him, but also for us Juventini that we love to see these young players. Another one that can be there, not versus Sampdoria, but potentially versus Inter, it is Milik. Sprint Milik. Yesterday we saw him in that machine trying to recover as fast as possible. He could be there versus Inter, maybe on the bench. Well, we have to find a solution because Vlahovic is not at the top of his form. Will we see the Trident tomorrow versus Freiburg? Well, it could be. Trident, we are speaking about Chiesa, about Vlahovic and Di Maria, but we are going probably towards again a confirmation of the 3-5-1-1 with someone on the bench ready to interchange, to come up from the bench to change the game as we did in the recent games, hopefully with better success than the one versus Roma. Vlahovic needs to play. He will be a starter, first of all, because, yeah, Moise Kean will be there, but after that red card, I'm really highly doubting that he will start the game. So I see him on the bench. I see Vlahovic with continuity of trust. We are hoping for him to do much better. We are hoping that we find a way to serve him better, but that when he's served, that he's also able to go on target and to score goals, something that he really, really needs. We go now towards the topic. Tar, what does that mean? Gazzetta dello Sport is speaking about Milan-Tottenham, but then you see Allegri with a smile. Why smiling? Because there is probably an opening for the minus 15 points giving back. Gazzetta is already speaking about a goal for the old lady, because yesterday, TAR, and who is TAR? TAR is the Regional Administrative Court, okay? It is not a sporting court. So that means that when you have troubles, first you go to the sporting court. If you can't solve it there, you have another step that not a lot of time has been used by football clubs, but is TAR, so the Regional Administrative Court, that is not taking care of sport, but they are making sure that the law is respected in all diverse topics. Well, yesterday, TAR obliged the sporting court, Kine, and so on, to give a paper, to show a paper to Juventus. A paper, it's not a paper A4, it is an email that is coming from April 2021. Why? Because that has always been denied to show to Juventus, to defense of Juventus, to the lawyers of Paratici, lawyers of Cherubini, but also to the request of Juve. One of the requests in that appeal of Juventus, I believe it's the 9th point, is to show that document. Why is that document really important? Because potentially, and I say potentially, it could show that the investigation started way earlier. And in terms of timing, everything that comes after that moment could be totally cancelled. That means that Juventus will receive their their 15 points back because of that trial that is absolutely not a valid investigation, valid trial, and it actually can be totally cancelled. Now, Gazzetta dello Sport is saying goal for Juve, goal for the old lady. I will not say goal. I would probably go towards the words of Guido Vazziago, the director of TuttoSport, that is speaking more about an assist more than a goal. Why? Because we don't know what is in that paper. We all believe and think that it's about the real official start of the investigation that could lead to a cancel of that trial, but maybe it's something else. We don't know. We need to understand it's an assist to show and to say, okay, now I'm ready to score that goal, and probably hoping not to do like Moise Kean, that a lot of time is flopping those goals, or having a post like Rabiot, like a lot of players like Quadrado, but going on target, like Di Maria, for example, doing a hat-trick versus not. Goal, goal, goal. That's what we want with the paper that has been shown to Juve. Of course, Italian media is already speaking about the potential Juventus being second again in a ranking with these plus 15 points. And I have to say that they are scared. Sport Mediasen is saying, with Juventus already in the run for the Champions League, being second with these 15 points, well, it's a problem for everyone. Beautiful words used by Sport Mediaset. It is a problem for everyone. This is how they are describing the situation. Well, problem, guys. The problem is for us, because I tell you already here, if we receive our 15 points, I will not celebrate. Why? Because I will be happy, of course. I believe it will be justice, but all the consequences that Juventus received in the meanwhile will never be cancelled. The dirt put on our name, that's one, but also what about the mental consequences after the game of Atalanta where you do 3-3, after Monza, where Allegri said so many times we were mentally not ready to play that game because we had the ranking in mind. These minus 15 points that were an injustice for what we did on the field. Well, we will never receive these back. And this is a real disaster. Anyway, this is what I believe, guys, what I wanted to say about that minus 50 points. Longer video. I will be here normally live at 2:30 p.m. for the press conference, live translation of the words of Massimiliano Allegri with the player next to him because it's Europa League. Who will it be? Why not Federico Chiesa? Ciao, grazie, forza, Juve.